In this video, we'll be looking at another one of my latest Lego builds. I call it Dwarf Mountain. It's a micro-scale castle built into the side of a mountain, and this castle is supposedly for dwarves. You might be wondering why it looks a bit strange, and we'll get to that later, with the floating platform serving a good purpose. I started by building the bottom of the build with the lime green wedge plates. As you can see, I meant to say the lime green curved slopes. As you can see, the build looks a bit better from here, and that's where I took the photo from. Above the lime green slopes, we have the foundations of the castle, building up with light bluish grey and using snot bricks and curved bricks to add some nuance to the build. I also added some mountain on top with white slopes for the snow coming down onto the build. The roofs of the castle are pieces taken from the recent El Dorado Fortress set, and I think they work great with the colour scheme of the build. As you can see here, I've gotten one of the backpack pieces from medieval minifigures, or rather the bucket that attaches to the back, and I've added a 1x1 stud on top. I'm then adding upside down buckets with a stud underneath each of them to make a sort of wooden tower. At the top, I added a 1x1 reddish brown, that is to say dark red plate with one of the feather pieces in it. Moving on to the rest of the build, we have at the back a few support bricks and some translucent yellow bricks that I use for windows. Originally I had them as black just to block in the light, but then I had the idea that if I put a light behind the mountain, you'd be able to see glowing windows. I think this works quite well, and that's what I ended up doing in the final photo, as you can see here. You might also notice that the background has been cut out. I did that afterwards in Photoshop. Here you can see the windows with the transparent yellow studs and the light behind it, illuminating the mountain and making it seem like there is a working dwarf city in there. At the top, we have a starry sky using a picture of stars I got off the internet and then photoshopped behind the build. This is that picture of the stars. Overall, I think it turned out quite well, especially with the town in the foreground. This is the original picture and shows the importance of editing, as the original isn't a particularly good photo. The small town atop the hill is built using tiny micro-scale houses. I used some blue bricks with simple tan slopes on top. There are a few different types of houses. We've got the 1x2 houses, in which I had 3 different types of roofs, and we've also got the 1x1 houses, where I had these roofs here, and then the square base pyramid roofs. Most of these tan pieces I took from the Hogwarts Great Hall set. Not the recent one, the one from 7 or 8 years ago. I also wanted to have some dwarves hiking in front with the castle as a background, but it was quite difficult to get the angle right. The dwarves had to be suspended high up in order to line up the 3 parts of the build, and even so, the dwarves blocked the view of the village below, and the castle was so small in the background that there would be a whole lot of table and wall behind it if I took the photo, that I would have no way of filling in. This is the photo with the dwarves. As you can see, I had to cut in a lot from the original to hide the table, and then I put a sky in the background. It doesn't look particularly good, and I'm happier with just the city. However, I do think the minifigures I made looks good. I was originally planning on using this light flame yellowish orange, I think is the color, dish piece in the background as a sky, but it was harder to do than I would have anticipated, and I ended up making it a nighttime scene anyway. That's all for this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.